Yo, today I'm going to show you everything you need to know about heel toe bass drum technique, including how to develop it, what it is, what it's not, the pros and cons of using this technique, and I'm going to give you some specific exercise to work on it. So let's check it out. All right, so let's talk about heel toe bass drum technique. To start out, what is it? Well, it's a technique where you can get two strokes out of one big motion. So let's talk about the fact that heel toe technique is actually a little bit of a misnomer. You're not quite using your heel and your toe. So if you split up your foot into 3 equal parts, you're actually going to be using the lower third and the upper third, not necessarily your heel and your toe. Let me show you why. If my big ass size 14 foot were to actually try to use my heel and my toe, it would look like this. And my heel actually wouldn't make any sound because my heel is hitting the foot plate, not the actual footboard, which we need to hit to make that first note. It's a little bit of a misnomer, but it's still called the heel toe technique for whatever reason. So here's how to execute the actual technique. What you're gonna do is you're gonna drop your leg down with your foot in an upward fixed position, and you're gonna drop your leg onto the pedal board, which is gonna get your first note, while your toes stay up. Looks like this. And then you'll notice I can still bring my foot down to get that second note when my leg didn't actually move. So a little faster. Looks like that. Do it again, a little faster. And then once you get that slow, exaggerated movement down, you can make it more nuanced and agile so that it's not such a disconnected 1-2 motion. It's one fluid motion of dropping your leg and your heel down, and the rest of your foot actually follows sort of like a whip. Now, in my opinion, this requires less energy and it's a little easier than your typical sliding technique or your tap and your drop. It's just what I grew up learning, and I've been able to develop this to get some fast doubles on the kick and utilize it in my faster fills and grooves and stuff like that. So if you're just starting out, I recommend doing this slow to fast to slow, doing doubles between your kick and then right, left in between. So this exercise, slow, fast, slow, is gonna be kick, kick, right, left, kick, right, left, from slow to as fast as you can, and then back to slow. It'll sound something like this. And as you're working on that, of course, you can hang out at the faster tempo if you're trying to push your speed and endurance. But if you drag out that gray area between the slow and the fast, you can work on these doubles at all sorts of different tempos. And that way you can get comfortable playing heel toe doubles at different speeds. Another exercise you can do is something I wrote called the heel toe builder. And this is great because it has 8th note doubles on the bass drum, 16th note doubles, and 32nd note doubles. So you can practice the heel toe at different subdivision rates. And it also has some triple strokes in there, which we're gonna get to right after this. I'll show you how to do those. So it's great for building control over this heel toe technique. Let's check it out. By the way, you can get this transcription if you want at the link in the description below by signing up to my newsletter. Tons of free information for you. A lot of other transcriptions, ebooks, exercises, all that good stuff. All in an effort to help you become a better drummer. So check that out at the link in the description below. Here it is. As you noticed in that exercise, there were 3 bass drum notes in a row for the and a 1 or and a 4 or whatever the exact rhythms were. But regardless, 3 bass drum 16th notes in a row. So how do we do that using the heel toe technique? Let's check it out. So you're gonna start with a heel toe double, just like we talked about earlier. Starts with the leg coming from the hip to the knee down to the foot. So heel toe double like this. And then you're gonna finish with a regular single stroke with your leg. But if you do it fast, it looks almost like a molar motion with your hand, where you whip down, use the middle of your foot and then the top, and then you come back up and then use your whole leg and your whole foot at the same time. So slow to fast, it looks like this. And this one takes a good amount of time to get control over. I still don't have perfect control over it yet when I'm starting on the E's or the U's of a 3-note grouping. So what I would recommend doing is nice and slow. Just take it through a 16th note grid, 3-note groupings of 16th notes. Start it on the 1, then start it on the E, then start it on the and then start it on the of the beat. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 E and a 2 E, a 3 E, a 4 E and a 1. That way you'll be able to have full control over those 3-note groupings and place them wherever you want within the measure. All right, so let's talk about the pros and the cons of using this technique. Like I said before, the benefits are that it takes very little energy and it's a smooth motion to get 2 notes out of 1 big motion. For me, I feel like it requires less energy than if you were doing a slide technique like this. But that's just my personal preference. You can also get pretty fast doubles and sustain them for a long time because you're using so little energy. So I could play right, left, kick, kick for as long as I need without really running out of energy. You get the idea. Obviously, that wasn't very interesting or musical, but I could do that for an hour if I needed. In my opinions, the cons or the drawback of this technique is that it doesn't give you the most control over that second note. So the toe part of the heel toe double can sometimes be hard to control and make it sound even or as even as the first double. It's almost as if you were just using pure rebound on a double stroke with your hands. The first note is naturally going to have more velocity, more power behind it because you're using your arm and your wrist and your fingers as well as gravity. And then that second note doesn't have as much energy because some was already transferred out of the stick into the drum using that first note. So you'll notice if I just play a double on the snare drum, the stick height is going to be different on the second note using just pure rebound than it is on the first note. So watch. So you'll notice The second note is a little softer. It's not technically as loud or as powerful, so often you'll use a little bit of wrist or finger motion to compensate. And you can sort of do the same thing with the heel toe double technique. You can focus more on that second note to bring it out and make it sound more even. And the other drawback, in my opinion, is that it doesn't really set you up for doing consecutive single strokes on the bass drum. Let's say if you're doing right kick, or left kick. So I don't know, maybe you're filling in 16th notes or you're working on your chops and you want to be able to do something like a single stroke roll between your right hand on the floor tom and your right foot on the bass drum. The heel toe technique doesn't really work on that sustained single stroke motion, so you're gonna have to practice that separately with your heel up, just playing consistent 16th notes, 30-second notes, whatever it is, in order to be able to have that accuracy with fast, sustained single strokes. But we'll save that heel up single stroke discussion for another video. And the last drawback that I noticed and had to sort of compensate, since, like I said, I have a bigger foot, I wear a size 14 shoe. Sometimes your whole foot doesn't fit nice and evenly on the pedal board, so you'll have to adjust at a slight angle for this to work better. And you'll have to use more of the bottom third of your foot rather than your heel. This is all I've known, so I don't know if it's easier having a smaller foot executing this technique. I feel like it might be, just based on the anatomy of the pedal board and your foot. But that's the other drawback I've found, is if you have a bigger foot, it might be a little more difficult. So now that you have everything you need to practice your heel toe bass drum technique, maybe you're looking for something a little more. Maybe you're looking for something to increase your hand speed. Good news, I have a video for that up here. You can check that out. I show you how I increased my hand speed by 30 beats per minute in just 2 days. So if you like this video, I think you'll like that one too. Go check it out. Until next time, peace.